insomnia, depression, anxiety, death, grief, regrets, isolation. Where it was challenging to have a social life previously, now it's too hard. Everyone is hiding in their own little fence bubble. That is when humans are not the viruses. All this turbulence to get where we are. Some others have already left, and most of the time, well, time and distance do the rest. It's my turn to flee. That was the plan for years. I just did not expect it to happen this way. I just have no more friends over here. In addition to not having a family, but that's an old story. My life was nothing. This city is now too charged with painful memories, every corner a reminiscence of a troubled story. Sometimes you don't have it anymore in you to be positive. I used to be polite. Now I'm like, fuck you, fuck everyone, fuck everything. Oh, did I mention being charged $5 for a piece of lettuce? Grocery stores are out of control. Let's see, just grab me the first thing in the fridge.
Yesterday I paid $7 for a fucking cabbage.
I mean, with this budget I could live in Hawaii, or I could live off tacos. I decided to leave. I needed to get going. My muscles were dystrophic from barely moving and leaving my apartment. All was static. Brain, digestion. And still I am making efforts to get the motors going. So here I am, living in a camper van here in Mexico. I moved here recently with my cat. I am not sure why I am posting this. I do not look for charity or donations. I am fine. I do not seek notoriety either. Nothing is niche anymore. On YouTube anyway. A friend welcomed me here in his place. We're roomies. With no expectations in return. I even insisted on helping him sometimes in his kitchen. I needed to keep my mind busy, I guess. It's rare for someone to help you with absolutely no ulterior motive. But I'll quickly share the story on how I got here. I've lived here in Mexico, coming back and forth for a couple of years now, so it feels a bit like home. I hesitated this time around though. My life crumbled down a couple of months ago by a tragic and sudden passing that left me lost. I am still wondering how to cope with this. And shortly after that, because of Murphy's Law, the story of my life, I stopped working. The pressure of being the only in-house dev in the startup I was working at was just insufferable at some point. So that was actually the best thing that happened to me back then. I was just fed up with working for other folks. My mind was broken, my body stiff, very distracted. I barely start to function again. And I didn't get unemployment for months while my file was being processed. I had to harass them until it got to a complaint supervisor, and And because I had declared some freelance income, some agent finally called me to roast me with questions, because of course we're all a burden, right? Questions about how my freelance activity is impacting my job search, and how come I still did not land any new job despite working in a high demand sector. How many jobs I apply to, how many hours I spend on my freelance activity contracts, that I cannot be as selective in terms of wanting to work remotely because we're all hybrid now, etc., etc. I have been dealing with office workers for months now, and I just can't anymore. Forget you feel tired or burnt out, forget you need time, forget that now with a bit of experience you might be a bit more selective in terms of the startups or the teams you want to work for, the projects to work on. Working remotely, not wanting to be bossed around or monitored, not wanting to be bombarded, not having to fix anything from broken links on WordPress to servers to DNS to Wi-Fi. And so far in my dev career, I've mostly worked remotely. I only worked a couple of months in office when I first started in 2019. And I've been figuring it out ever since on my own, pretty much. I mean, if I had learned anything, is not to put your eggs in the same basket, not to put your destiny in the hands of someone else. They just don't give a rat's ass about you. Most startups, HR or management are a disaster in the making, and you need a side hustle. I've seen it time and time again. It's a matter of time until people shit on you. And working remotely allowed me to save time and energy. And now being in Mexico, I focus on my side hustle, which has nothing to do with web development. I have set myself the goal of offering mermaiding services here. So I might keep you posted about that. What else can I say? Well, sometimes you're just tired of fighting. It was just going to shit, and I couldn't keep up anymore with the mess, and I have some tolerance for chaos. I also struggled to get my cat back from my ex. That was a shit show, literally. As I expected, didn't make it easy. Until I started to suspect something fishy and got into bitch mode again. They kept making excuses, and you know what? All what people will remember in all of this is that you're the bitch, you're a bitch, and you know what else? Fine by me. This is a small town, and I learned to walk past the clique every time I cross them in town, in the alley of judgment and whispers and looks. I pretend I don't see them and just walk straight ahead, because you will always be the bad guy of the story, the outsider. Things are weird around here, and not always in the good spectrum of weirdness. The WTF kind of weird, where folks don't bother to give you a time and place, would rather lie to you, ignore you, even if you rely on them. All the ingredients for drama. Like a good friend of mine told me once, there's a saying in Spanish, Pueblo chiquito, grande inferno, which means small village, big hell. Anyway, my mistake. I left a domesticated cat and got back an injured and sick street cat too, with days of treatments with antibiotic shots and cleaning vomit and diarrhea, but he's fine now. You just need to accept that in this life, people are just in it for their own asses. You need to accept that sometimes your only source of affection is a pet. You need to accept that you are born, you live, and you die on your own. Most people don't care. Most of them, if they do, is to get something out of you or to make fun of you. I have cat hair. And most people, when they tell you if you need anything, well, guess what? Not true. Most friends are not. Most people are hypocrites. Sorry, not that positive, all of that, but that's the reality. And most people around here are opportunistic drifters looking to make an extra buck at every opportunity, even when you're at your worst. My life was too hard to stand this. What I want to say is, even though I'm surrounded by palm trees and beaches, the expat life reality is not always dreamy. Sometimes you crash and burn and come back from ashes, and that's perfectly fine. There was also this example of this guy who I thought was a friend, whom I met here a year and a half ago. He wanted to settle in Canada for a little while to work, whom I welcomed in my place at some point, not long before leaving. That happened, and I was glad to have some company once the dust of that tornado was coming back down. But oh boy, I didn't know him well enough. I ended up kicking him out because he was problematic, keeping up with the same type of BS. But I don't want to hold grudges. I want to leave thinking of what I will leave behind me once I'm gone, in terms of impact, memories, experiences, obviously. And if I need to be alone with a cat to be in peace, to improve my life, then be it. Sorry, by the way, there's a lot of noise around here, there's a lot of traffic, so we'll see how the footage and the sound is rendering. If it's too distracting, if I keep on doing this, I'll rather film at night. So, anyway, I was thinking the other day, I've had a photo shoot with my mermaid tail. I am in the promo phase right now. So I had a photo shoot including in this restaurant bar I used to work at. And the guys I knew helped me carry me around, and I am so not used to men making time or efforts for me or relying on them, which makes me nervous sometimes, that one of them told me, you need to accept getting help. You need to accept how to get help, which was telling in some ways. But I'm still alive and I'm still here for a little while. I will settle in another city though, not sure where yet. I'm just living day by day, and right now I'm just in the mode of no me vale la verga, no me vale la verga, chinga su madre, chinga su madre. So, I can't translate that. With still a breakdown here and there every once in a while. I focus on the very few friends, genuine friends that I have here, or the acquaintances that were genuinely accepting and welcoming or generous to me in probably my toughest times. So I will stop rambling now. I will go get some breakfast at my friend's kitchen. If any of you can relate somehow to any of this, please hold on. But shit will get worse before it will get better. I am only sharing my personal story. Maybe that can motivate you or not to go on. I don't pretend to reinvent the wheel. So on this, much love, and I will see you soon. Yeah, all kind of noises here.